And welcome back to the Rocket League OCE Championship for League Play number 4. My name's Jake Asteric, Sozzy Penko, David Yummy Cheeseman Lane, and Jake Edwards there at the end of the desk. I've always wanted to say that. We're here for League Play 4, and this is kind of the defining line of teams. Yep.
And right now, today, is the staging ground for next week. If you do well today, you've got every chance next Sunday.
You really don't want to put yourself in a tough position next week. It is awful to come into that last week and go, oh, we need to win everything and convincingly.
Well, the big thing is that you need 4 wins, 4 series wins. There's 3 teams on 2 wins. There's 2 teams on 1 win. You want to get yourself to that 3rd win for next week.
When you have the upset of a team like Justice rising through the ranks, and teams like Order and Legacy not performing at their best, it shakes League Play up, especially with the OCE Shuffle making a bigger impact.
Look, we've had a really close middle section this League Play. We've had teams dropping unexpected games, Order losing to Avant. It's made these tiebreakers really interesting because we do have a definitive top 2, but 3rd and 4th are all to play for.
I love that, though, because it means that we have so much. We've got Order and Legacy making mistakes there, and we're going to have potentially different teams in the top 4. Also, I get to make fun of them every week.
That's the best part.
Your favorite. Teams like SYF Gaming as well, hot on the trail with Avant, but every win counts for them today. One loss could be the downfall as well.
There's a lot. Like, Order need to win today, because if they don't, they need to win both series next week up against Tainted Minds and Legacy.
Which is
those are tough matches.
Yeah, and SYF is in the same position. Any team with 3 losses right now has to win every match or they're pretty much out.
Yeah, and next week the big match is the Justice versus SYF. So both of those teams right there are preparing for that match today by trying to win both of theirs.
Depending on how SYF Gaming go today. Justice as well, we said they're in a good position, but they've got a hard matchup coming up against the Chiefs. However, with their run so far against Ground Zero, you said every match counts, but at this point, they're in a good position until next week when, of course, they go up against SYF for the deciding match.
Yeah, and honestly, like today as well, I'm looking a lot at Avant. They haven't been too loud or noisy after Order. And this is their chance to get back into the series.
Avant have really been struggling. I have almost ridden them off just thinking about it. So I do really want to be proved wrong this week. I want to see Vive really carry that team and see some exciting things.
It's been very hard because they're in a position where they came in as the 8th seed. They're rising up, and they did so well in that first week, but weren't able to match it.
At the moment, when you're fighting for the biggest OCE prize pool we've ever seen, $50,000 US, by the way, then every single game, again, we've been saying it counts, but those RLCS spots, you can't forget. Tainted Minds and Chiefs right now in a good position to take them again.
They've secured essentially $6,000 US minimum. That was 2nd place last season. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, GZ have basically dropped themselves into that bottom half.
It's pretty... last week was so devastating for Ground Zero. You really want to... You want to see them not lose faith in this competition right now, because there is still so much to play for, even if they've lost a little bit of hope with how unlikely it is for them to make it.
I know they've already changed their roster, and the fact is they could have 3-0'd all their matches and put themselves in a great spot.
As we're expecting them to do,
But they're making the changes, they're trying different things out, and they're using this time as junk time, which I don't know is the right decision.
In those standings at the moment, Ground Zero, 0-4. So unfortunately, it is like 99% secured there. At the moment, we were talking about the severity of games today for Avant, for SYF, and for teams like Legacy as well, which are standing neck and neck with Justice.
And there's a lot of teams right there hanging out in the middle. I think even though Order there in 3rd place, I think they're actually 4th place.
Yeah, I think Justice are 3rd at the moment. And
but even though they're up there, they've got the hardest matches remaining. So realistically, you could put them down a couple of notches.
No one is safe in that middle at all. SYF can really make a run. If they win all their games, they'll probably make top 4. Avant as well. If they win all their games, they make top 4.
And in fact, I'm calling it now because Order and Legacy are versing each other next week. I don't think both of them can make it. I think we are going to get a brand new team. I think like it can happen.
Wow.
Who
I just don't think it will happen.
Relying on Justice to make that gap.
To me, it's between Justice and SYF, depending on how SYF do today.
Okay, so we're looking at the middle of the pack, but the top of the pack seems so safe. Is there anyone who can challenge Chiefs or Tainted Minds?
Well, Tainted Minds haven't even versed the other top 3 teams, the ones that were top 3 in the season.
Tainted Minds have had a free run so far. They are not tested.
Free run. All right,
okay,
Chiefs,
that's a bit toxic. That's a bit toxic.
They've
They've definitely played the bottom 4 teams.
Yeah.
Like, at least what we were expecting.
In what they seeded in
Yeah.
the league play.
No, so when they verse these top 3 teams, maybe we question the middle of the pack a little bit more. However, today, we start off with, I think, one of the most important matchups.
Yep.
When we go in and we ask ourselves, what game defines league play here in the OCE Championship? I start with Order taking on SYF.
That match shows 2 teams that could potentially make it. We're expecting SYF to maybe beat out Avant later. So if they beat out Order here, they're basically in.
This is pretty much a must-win for both teams.
Yeah.
Like we said, Order are not sitting comfortably right now. They really need this win, and SYF need to win all the rest of their games to qualify.
And while we're seeing that graphic as well, we've got Legacy versus Tainted Minds at the end of the day. And as we said, Tainted Minds haven't been tested against the top 4. And at the same time, Legacy dropped down. They need the win to bring themselves back in.
The Justice loss hurt them massively, and that is going to be expectations placed on that game later. But we talk about our first one, right back at it. Order and SYF, and Order starting the season. It was the Zen show. It was Zen. Can he work in this team?
Yeah.
And then we start talking about other players because Order just weren't working as a
Even
unit.
though it was the Zen show, we were expecting a lot from him. I don't think he performed. He was super nervous. You came at the end of that week, and he was just like, I was a mess. And I think this week is even higher stakes than that.
I've been really impressed with Jules, actually, on Order. Zen was... He's always a very high potential player, but he has lacked that experience, and I think Jules this season really has shown that RLCX experience that he brought.
On that note as well.
Jules was huge in the first week, right?
Yeah.
He was big, but Zen's actually picked it up, and when they're up against the Chiefs, he got a lot of their goals. He's actually their top goal scorer as well.
I think on that note as well, just to interrupt, we have AoE Emp coming in as a sub for Jules.
No, we do not.
Oh, so that's been
They brought
cancelled.
it back. I should have said.
Okay.
Yeah, so spoilers on my predictions later. I did predict SYF, but that was based on the sub. So I don't actually know how this is going to go, but obviously Order, I think, are advantaged from that.
I want to see Dumbo stepping up a bit more. Order has always...
Well, he had a good week last week.
He had an okay week last week. I just like...
Okay.
This team isn't outstanding to me.
Last week, he didn't whiff the ball 20 times a series.
That's
but that shouldn't be the expectation to them play well. I want to see more outstanding things from Order.
But you guys are sitting on the back of Order. What about SYF Gaming? Deca, Delusion, Requiem. 3 players who maybe did we overhype them coming in? What do you think?
I think a little bit. I think they're definitely fan favorites, so you want them to do well. You're always going to be backing them.
Yeah.
Billy is probably the most liked player, but he's got the worst stats of anyone. Lowest goals, lowest shots, lowest score.
And he's paired with Deca, who the previous season had the same idea.
Yeah, and Delusion has the most saves, but that's usually a bad thing. You don't want to be actually having to save shots.
No, Delusion's stats have really dropped off. From last season where he was the golden boy, 0.92 goals per game and 0.7 assists.
His opening season
He's
as well.
down to 0.18 assists per game.
Okay.
I mean, that sort of happens, though, when you're going from the second best team that came second in league play to the team that's coming 7th. You're simply, across the entire team, going to have less
But it's such an important game. If Delusion wants to make an impact here, he's going to have to get away from that net. Jake, let's start with you for predictions. SYF Gaming, Order. Now that we've got Jules coming in and it's not AoE Amp.
I think it'll be a close one. I think Order will take it, though. I have been a little bit disappointed with Order's performances, but I know they're a really high-quality team, and I think throughout the season, they are going to continue to get better, and I'm expecting a good performance this week.
Okay.
Well, I actually think because Order are advantaged against SYF, that's going to go in SYF's favor.
Oh.
Weirdly enough, because Order are going to come in expecting a win, and that's when they seem the most nervous, when they actually have the pressure on themselves.
Well, that Avant loss was massive.
Yeah, that Avant loss, and they only just beat Justice as well.
Yep, true.
So, and that was a super nervous week. They've had the Chiefs since then, where they came in with no nerves and played their best.
I think SYF, taking the game against Chiefs last week, I can bounce between either of these teams. I think SYF showcased what they're capable of last week.
That was with a sub, though.
Yes. Yes, it was. But at the end of the day, I think Order have high expectations placed on them, and I'm going to sit with those. So I'm going to jump on the Order train. But before we go into this game, we have to note one thing, that SYF, if they lose here, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they have 4 losses and you're essentially out.
Look, they have a pretty good run from now on, though. They've lost to Tainted, Chiefs, and Legacy, arguably the top 3 right now. So even though they're 1-3, if they win this game, they're in a good position to make top 4.
They're 2-2, and they've got Justice and Avant, 2 teams that they're definitely beatable.
Yeah, definitely quote unquote the bubble teams originally at the start of the season, or at least outside of the bubble. But now with SYF, they have an opportunity to strike at the heart of Order, get the win onto Order. If Order fall down as well, they're in the same boat.
Yeah, 2 wins against Legacy and Tainted Minds. nobody's beaten Tainted Minds yet, so they'd have to cause an upset there too.
Maybe we'll see some Tainted Minds losses this week. Again, playing a bit harder competition.
Skeptical there.
I want to see some good stuff.
All right, Jake, well, we'll find out. Order taking on SYF Gaming, game number 1, and a loss here in the series could mean everything here as we go right in.
This win is so important. Can SYF cause the upset, or will it be Order securing their spot? We have to remember, Dumbo has never missed a single top 4 in the entire 2 years that we've been going to RLCS.
We wanted to tell the story about Dumbo, but we never can. Excuse me. Always coming so damn close for Order, meeting the ball midfield, and SYF Gaming trying to punch it through. Order always about Zen, but I guess today we'll be looking more at Dumbo and how his performance goes alongside Jules.
And speaking of how important this matchup, Jules was not available. He was away. He actually changed his holiday plans. He changed everything he could in order to get involved in this match and get them into that top 4.
I think it's important. Jules' priorities are there. Up for the ball, SYF Gaming from the right wing. Delusion now receives it, but it's back over to Jules. Decker trying to cause a ruckus there with Zen. The ball passed up nicely, but Jules no direction. Back over to the corner, waiting on this game number 1 to start them off. SYF Gaming face defeat here with a loss.
Order so far have done a good job of passing to each other. But the big thing is SYF are backing off. They're not going to their strategy of dunking their opponents in their own half, and it means that Order can continually counterattack.
Dumbo with a nice touch there. What can be made of it? Order setting it up against the wall. A block by Delusion again. The savior, so this time, very necessary. Dumbo with the touch. Delusion now the rebound. Zen's coming in. Decker. A punch over to the side. Jules off the wall now. And for Requiem, what can he make done? SYF Gaming again from the corner.
It was good to see Zen push up on that attack too. I think that's a sign of confidence that he was willing to play across. He took the risk, and even though it didn't pay off, it's a good sign for Order.
Especially since Zen has been lacking in that confidence. Order now in the midfield. 3 minutes left here in game 1. Delusion, the touch against the wall once more. Jules on the defense, Zen goes up for it as well. Some positioning out of Order. SYF Gaming almost capitalizing bid. They come through with the strike. Jules there from the corner, the pass into the center. But a save away with the clear.
The moment they go for a dunk, SYF immediately get punished, and there's another miss coming out from SYF.
A big opportunity there, but capitalizing back in the side of Order. Jules rolls the ball. Delusion saves it away again. Then comes in out of that corner. Elven Order. They're just trying to punish that defense, but mistakes being made by both sides. Jules down with the shot.
Jules keeps going for these shots. He needs to go for the pass. He went for one pass and missed it, and since then has not hit it towards his teammate.
Release Order starting to get some shots on net. That's why Gaming had one opportunity. Zen now, the dribble's there. It's going in. The drop down, but up the ball goes by Decker. Melbourne Order trying to repeat the play, setting it up for Jules, but SYF Gaming hold on.
Requiem's really important in their midfield. I said he was the lowest scorer, but he is the highest assister, and Dumbo straight in the center. The pass comes from Zen.
Finally on the board. Melbourne Order had a couple of shots at the start of this game, but this is the one that takes the cake. A great pass.
Zen's having a great showing so far in this first game. He's not nervous. That pass was brilliant. Get it past the defender. And Order are taking the first game 1-0 at the moment.
2 minutes left remaining. SYF haven't been able to get down that side of the field as much as Order have for them. The pass there, over the top, Requiem.
He took his time on that one. He waited for the defender to go up, and then he beat them out. Requiem ties up the game.
Finally, SYF Gaming, as we say, Order is starting to get through. SYF Gaming respond immediately.
You can see how quickly this can get turned around, and I really want to see Requiem be that big change for SYF this week.
Well, passes up, Order again. Bring themselves back down on the defense now. Onto the left wing, Jules receives the ball. It's a great pass, a shot wide. Now up for Zen, the three-man play back into effect. Zen loses his second chance. Illusion, plenty of boost to play with, but loses the ball over to Dumbo, and Order right back in front of that net. Decker with the pinch. Zen stops it. Jules won't go for it. He's on the defense. A touch needed. Round for Delusion again. The shot is directly on net. An easy block there from Dumbo. Couple of saves coming through, and SYF Gaming back on down. Decker just gets a freebie.
Great to see SYF siege that goal. They kept the ball in for the first time this match, and it pays off. Just gets it past the defense. And this is one of the problems of Order. They push out so aggressively in defense.
A couple of misses, a couple of wasted opportunities. And Order fall behind, 2-1.
They really changed the flow of that match too. SYF hadn't got a single pressure play yet, and the first time they do, Order not expecting it.
Surprising with SYF Gaming taking charge in game number 1. The pass again, Jules gets blocked by the defender, but Dumbo comes back in. Zen denied by Decker. Now the play from SYF is the clear all the way to the other side by Dumbo himself. A safety pass to Jules and the punch up from the midfield.
We'll see if Order can set this around. They've got the attacks, but they're just not linking the pressure. That's what they normally want to do. And Dumbo, a big miss, gives SYF a chance.
Demo onto Zen. Does SYF continue to play? Decker comes in, but loses to the dribble. The challenge finally won over by SYF. And it bounces into the goal square, but nothing comes of it. Zen receives the play or gives the play over to Jules. And Order back on the attack.
30 seconds left for Order to stay in this first game to keep their hopes alive.
Zen receives the ball. Requiem going for the demo. The play does not come into success. And SYF Gaming now stuck on the defense. 10 seconds to go. Order counting down the clock, looking for that last goal in game number 1. But SYF in a commanding position. The pass to Zen. It's going in. But Decker, the hero. Savior men are well deserved. He holds on, and SYF take game 1.
All 3 members of SYF got such important touches at the end of that game. Requiem with the clear. Then it was Decker clearing it out. And finally, Delusion. 1 save, but it was the most important save of the entire game.
But for Order to fall on the back foot like that after such a commanding start is worrying to see. Game 1 over to SYF, and that's exactly what they want to stay in league play.
This is SYF putting a statement in. This is the chance for them to get into the top 4 in their first ever series, for Delusion to prove himself against everyone. Man.
It's a good start. It's a fantastic start. Man, oh man is right. Even Requiem. That first goal for SYF was so important.
I think Requiem has proved himself a little bit more. It wasn't just that goal that he got. In the midfield, when you saw Order attempting to get those passes and they were actually setting up some good plays in that, Requiem was the one who was going out for the intercepts, who was shutting down the play a lot. You don't get points for that, but it certainly shows on the pitch how much of an effect he's having.
For someone who we said had, some of the worst stats in the league, it's a great way to kind of recover that and bring yourself back.
It kind of really feeds into his gameplay. He is all about controlling, about midfield, about passes. He's one of the most team-oriented players. He's the most team-oriented player on that team. Okay. So he's the one always looking for a pass with every single touch. If he can keep that up, then SYF might just be able to take down Order and put themselves in a chance for top 4.
Let's find out. Game 2 now, and SYF Gaming have an opportunity to shut down Order, keep themselves in league play, and essentially try and take Order out of the running.
It's a close one, and Order have to bring this one back. They were expected to make it, but another mistake from Order.
And it's Decker again who smacks it down. Billy pops it up over Jules, and Zen has nothing to do with that ball.
Now we've seen mistakes, big mistakes from each of the Order members. First Dumbo, then Jules, and now Zen. Maybe I was too quick to say that they weren't getting affected by nerves.
And Order just in such a difficult position off that back wall. They're setting themselves up, but the defense holding strong by SYF Gaming, able to translate that into a positive attack. Decker off the left wing. SYF Gaming again in that same position off the corner. The pass is good, but Zen gets to it first. Last member, Requiem. Away from the goal it goes, from the corner, the dribble. SYF Gaming get it out.
Those opportunities where SYF go for those crazy dunks in attack, that's when Order should be able to punish, but they're not pushing forward. They're not holding someone forward to do the counter-attack pass play.
And those plays, exactly, non-existent right now. SYF Gaming back in the attack. Decker from the right wing. Towards that goal net. Jules, spread is far. It's over to Dumbo once more. The dribble there. Dumbo gets his way with it. The ball going towards net. Decker lobs it away, but Jules is up. Dumbo in the midfield. He's in position. Zen can't get it either. 2 members have pushed up, and it's up to Jules.
And you saw that attack. Every single member of Order completely stopped, waited for Jules. It was too slow, and SYF could read it.
Decker with a close call once again, though. They get the ball through that midfielder. The aggressive attack, the angle from Delusion. A close call once again.
These angles, Decker first, now Delusion. SYF showing that they have the striking ability. They've put in so many hours the past few weeks. They've been on the grind, and it's starting to pay off.
Definitely an improvement from last week. Let's see if they keep up that consistency. Only 1-0, 3 minutes left remaining. Dumbo comes in, the touch is good. Zen goes the other way, and now SYF, there's one defender. They get it through Jules. Everyone rushing back. Delusion's here. The pass is center. The miss, no it's not, it's Requiem.
SYF, they send it all the way up, and there was such good communication from the start of that play. Delusion had all the boost. Decker had none. They talk to each other. They get the ball up, and Requiem is just there in time.
You said this team has Requiem, the best team player in the team itself. It feels like they're all working together as that cohesive unit, and now with the bouncer, another shot on net. The commit up as well, and SYF Gaming start 2-0 in this second half of the game.
And Order is starting to rush, and this is going to be another one. Decker sinks in 3.
Immediately, SYF Gaming creating alarm bells over Order. And Decker.
There were 3 touches in a row right there where Order were just like, we need to get this out. You can see all of the pressure that SYF are starting to apply. And all of a sudden, a series that should be in Order's favor is going to go 2-0 to SYF Gaming. This is a rematch of NRG versus Ghost. Sorry, Rogue.
Yeah, at this point though, Order have to start being NRG and start that reverse sweep run.
Well, the one advantage is the Order have never been as dominant as NRG, so the reverse sweep is not going to happen.
By the way, I absolutely love it. SYF Gaming on the defense. An Order in front of net. This is Jules off the backboard, ready for Zen, but Zen, he's hit it wide. There's some contention there from SYF Gaming. Defense holding out. Dumbo, the pass is to no one, and it feels like they're falling apart.
SYF Gaming showing up big, but right now in the midfield, nothing truly happening. But why is that net open?
Requiem with another though, Yummy. And what I'm looking at as a negative for Order is just a positive.
Zen and Dumbo just bumping each other, hitting the ball away, panic defense. And SYF are probably one of the best teams at beating out a panic defense. They go for predictions. They go, you're going to most likely make this play. And when you're panicking, you always go for what is the quote-unquote safe play.
And what normally would be kind of the wrong move against a team like Chiefs, Tainted Minds, right now against Order, even with that goal, it seems to be the right one.
It is a solid return from Jules. This is the striking we saw from him earlier in the season. Puts them straight back in, but 4-1 still for SYF.
145. Is it doable by Order? Well, at this point, we look at the play. We look at the feel of this game. We need to see more. Dumbo goes up for the ball. The commitment's there from SYF Gaming. Right back on that attack off the wall. Jules gets it through 1. Requiem's there to recover.
See Decker being so aggressive. They've just got so much room right now. 4-1 leads. You're always going to use that.
125. Order. Pass is good to Dumbo, but defense still strong. Decker going to meet with Jules. The win over. Jules trying to pop it in front. Zen's there, but it's just back over to Dumbo. Jules now off the wall, misses the ball again. It's just room to breathe for SYF Gaming.
SYF, I think they've taken out this game. 1 minute remaining. They've held so much more pressure than Order already, and there's no stringing together of any plays coming from the blue half. It's a great defensive pass, but it should get cleared out from Requiem.
Requiem with a touch, Zen comes back in. Requiem with a double save. Well, SYF Gaming, they're definitely on form. Order in front of that net still, and they just can't do anything. And another goal. There it goes.
That's the counter-attack. That's where Order had to commit. They had to go for that goal. It was their last chance to be in this game, but luckily Delusion has been that player to stay forward, to look for the pass to them out of defense. That is 5-1. SYF are going to go 2-0 up in this series.
In a series that we said was probably going to be one of the closest of the day, if not the most important, and it still is so damn important.
And if you thought one team was going to go up 2-0 in this series, you'd think it would be Order.
Yeah.
But it is not. Order, this could be the end of their season if they lose this series.
I think at this point, every caster except you, Yummy, predicted Order for the win. And a 2-0 start is looking good for SYF Gaming. 5-1. And they do not look like that defense is going to break anytime soon.
And even I only predicted SYF Gaming because of the sub. I thought it would be a close series and that the sub would be what tipped it over the line. But sub or no, SYF, not only if they take this series, they put themselves into a chance of top 4. They prove that they can do even better.
That's right. Looking at that 2 on the scoreboard. And now, finding number 3 is the next question. Order, they have to find a reverse sweep out of somewhere.
I want to see this defense from Order change. I need to see them calm down. They've been rushed at everything, just going, up for the ball and miss because they've tried to go too fast. But on the same note, SYF are getting up to the ball fast. They're putting Order in these difficult situations where they have to think, okay, I need to beat them to the ball.
And Order are trying to take shots. You saw 3 shots there out of that 5-minute game. And Order had so many more opportunities down that side of the field. They just weren't shots because they weren't targeted towards that net.
And they're still not holding anyone forward. They're still not looking to get that offensive pass. I think when Order are looking to get onto attack when they're on defense, it's more about just pushing up and hoping for a 50-50 from Dumbo. But you can't rely on that against SYF. They're great at 50s. They're the team that goes for the most dunks. They go for these really risky dunks that maybe even only pay off 20% of the time. If you look at Decker throughout these series and watch him go for, like, even his second man big dunks, he misses most of them, but when he does get them,
the ones that hit.
It almost always or very often leads to a goal.
I guess you miss all the shots you don't take, and sometimes you miss the ones you do take anyway. But
the thing is, Order should be able to punish that. They should be able to punish into a 3v1 situation.
And I look at Order, you know, again, we talk about those matchups. Week 5 is Tainted and Legacy. They need this series win. And it comes down to this. Game 3, SYF Gaming, a couple of match points to play with.
This does not seem like Order's season so far. SYF, 1 game away from just securing the series, but most importantly, they got a game win against Chiefs. They got game wins against other teams. A 3-0 here puts them in super good stead.
Somehow they saved that though, Yummy Cheese Man. It comes off the backboard. Jules with a shot, hits down and straight in.
Perfect placement from the perfectionist himself. Jules up on the crossbar, 1-0. And Order looking to get themselves back in this series.
And look at the tempo of this game. Order have pushed forward on the pace. And let's see if that consistency comes through in Game 3.
They really tested the defense. They brought it out, and Jules finally got the open shot that he was looking for.
And SYF down 1-0. Now in Game 1, similar situation. SYF fought back. Order still in a predicament here. Off the backboard on the defense. A miss there. Requiem takes a direct shot, but Zen will save it. Decker back in. Zen for the save again.
And that's the defensive pass, and Dumbo gets to receive it. This allows her to push forward, but immediately the dunk from Billy.
And they've just come through the contest. The 50-50, you said, is their speciality. Decker comes back in. The dunk again. This time from Delusion will miss. So Dumbo around the wall has a bit of time. Delusion wins it over. And Order, confident here is Zen, ready to go down, but goes wide.
Zen scores those. He doesn't today. That could be heartbreaking.
Comes back through. Jules scores those, Yummy Cheese Man.
He made up for it. Jules, he's having a good season. This is just one more notch on his belt. Gets that one down right above the net. It was a tough angle, and he needed to get it powerful, but he did.
Second goal for Jules, though. Bit of a saving grace for Order right now. 2-0 start. And SYF Gaming, their bite has softened a little bit in game number 3.
Now Order looking to make the reverse sweep to keep their dream alive, to try and get to RLCS. Dumbo's been so close so many times, 1 goal away twice. And now looking to get there this season.
Dumbo trying to get fancy with the ball like Requiem. Decker reads well. Zen goes in for the challenge once again. Jules comes through and out of the corner. Everyone's pushed up again from Order. Zen goes for the demo, misses on Decker. There's no boost on him, but Order don't realize until now. Off the wall, Delusion comes back in. Requiem raiding around the midfield. The ball will just be cleared once more. Order getting through with these intercepts. So at least there's a bit more breathing room. Dumbo with the dunk down. It goes wide. The demo might keep the attack going.
I think Jules is going to be the important factor here. That intercept was great. He got up to it nice and fast and didn't rush himself away from the shot. It set up these opportunities. It set up the pressure for the goal to come in from Order.
And what have Order been doing up until this Game 3? This is the lifeline. Right now. They needed this game. They're 3-0 up. And they're back in.
Well, it seems that any team that Dumbo's ever on, they just play differently depending on the situation, and they're always best at playing from behind. We'll see if they can hold that to get the full reverse sweep, but right now a 3-0 seems very insurmountable for SYF.
Well, they got 3 minutes to play with, but Order have picked up their pace, picked up their gameplay, and Decker will hit that backboard. Zen with a light touch It's still over to Requiem, though. He's out of boost once again. The pass is there. Zen will manage to clear it away, but Delusion's back in. From this corner, the bouncer. It's up the decker. But SYF still running out of time.
This is the pass play. We've got the 3 men looking for it, but again, no finish.
Still 3-0 up, though, so keeping the pressure at the moment. Okay for Order. That backboard's a touch away by Jules. It's about to dunk its way in. Requiem comes in as well, committing up for the ball. The dunk again. Riskier plays, but no fruition just yet. Zen loses the ball.
You're starting to see SYF push up. They're looking dangerous in attack, but they could get turned on if they overcommit. This is the chance. It gets saved out by Jules.
Delusion hitting right with the angle, but 2 defenders there. Now Order turn it into a counter-attack. They get the ball pinched away into the midfield. Jules up once again. Zen out of boost. The defense getting a little bit tricky here, but SYF Gaming just really don't have much time.
There's a lot of work going in on this SYF Gaming, but they keep getting turned around over and over again. They're not setting up the pass play, and if Order can hold up this pressure, then they'll just get scored on again.
Well, if we go to game 4 with similar position, Order might just start this reverse sweep. And they've already started here. They might continue it, I should say. Zen off this wall. 1 minute 15 remaining. Requiem. The bouncer over to Delusion. SYF. Yes, they've run out of time in this game. Pretty much.
I feel like Zen's really been struggling in that defense as well. A lot of silly touches that are just soft clears away that give opportunities to SYF, but they're not getting punished in this 3rd game.
They're not. And the change of pace. This is actually a stylish goal from Jules and Dumbo. Finally, they're starting to work together.
Yep. And Dumbo was really rushed to that. He saw that Jules, or maybe Jules said to Dumbo that he didn't have much of a touch there. So Dumbo rushed across the net and beat out the defender. So even though we saw SYF outpacing Order earlier on, the speed demons of Order have started to catch up.
Thunder risen in this game 3. An Order 4-0. It's going to be 5. What a change of pace.
This is such a turnaround, and this is actually a complete mock of NRG up against Rogue. The first 2 games they lost, then they went 6-1. Order starting this reverse sweep, and when you have a game like this that is so one-sided, it starts to become so much clearer their option to get that reverse sweep. For SYF Gaming, they start thinking, oh my god, are they turning this around? What do we do? Panic stations. Every red light is flashing in the SYF brains, but you just have to calm down and hope that the next game goes well.
Motivation for Order as well. I think on the back foot a little bit in game 1 and game 2, and this confidence was not shown. Suddenly, it's 5-0 in game 3, the biggest turnaround we've seen so far in this series.
And we're just seeing them string it together. I kept saying they couldn't before.
Yep.
Order, one touch into the next. They're following each other up. They're getting the passes. They're getting up to it fast. They've completely turned around this team. Something that can be very difficult to do in the middle of a series.
But 5-0, still 3-0. That was what we're expecting from SYF Gaming after game 1, game 2. Now, 2-1. And the reverse sweep has started for Order. If they can continue, it's another question.
Big goals as well. 5 goals, 3 coming out from Dumbo, 2 from Jules. I think Jules was definitely the star.
Yep.
I still see Zen making too many defensive mistakes, but because they are getting into attack, because they are building in that pressure, SYF, similarly to how they played against the Chiefs, just didn't have the time to get into attack, to even go for those big dunks that they were getting in the last 2 games. So they were not really able to set anything in motion.
But those challenges feel like a key part of SYF Gaming, as you mentioned before.
And if you don't win them, then all of a sudden you're out of the game.
Because that was the 1 game against Chiefs.
Yeah.
When we saw the 1 game against Chiefs, it was SYF Gaming in their finest form. Chiefs maybe not in theirs, but, you know, let's balance it out a little bit. SYF Gaming against Order the first 2 games here. That is the SYF that can challenge those top teams and get themselves into top 4.
Yeah.
But Order feel like now they've switched on, and the balancing of power could be coming forward.
I mean, you talk about crushing. I'm crushed after that loss, right? Where you think about the team and you're like, we're 1 game away. And we talked about Dumbo, how he gets into these situations all the time somehow. He gets a 2-game lead and then he decides to change the play style. You're kind of maybe seeing a little bit of that from SYF Gaming as well, where they back off, they take it more carefully. But in doing so, they lose all of that aggression, all of the the stuff that won them the first 2 games.
Even though Zen, you said, is having defensive mistakes, when Zen gets freedom, I mean, he does flippy and fancy crap, but, you know, that's what Zen's about.
He's great in attack. You can't fault him there. He's getting some good passes off. He's not struggling as much as he was in the first game as well, where there was just a big defensive miss coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Now's their chance to go through. Jules is doing well. Dumbo's starting to just be very consistent in that midfield. So right now, Order looks so dangerous. They look like they could make this reverse sweep.
But is it going to happen in Game 4? Are we going to see that same Order from Game 3? The reverse sweep has started, ladies and gentlemen, but SYF Gaming still 2 more match points.
Will this important match go to Game 5? Can Order bring it back? Because if they don't, they've got to try and beat Tainted Minds and Legacy next week.
And for SYF Gaming going, wow, what a start. But for Order, they've already punched their ticket towards that net. First shot by Dumbo. And off the ground, Order starting the attack.
So much pressure, and they're hitting the ball, and that is straight into the center. Dumbo across to Jules. Order on top of SYF.
And look at the confidence, look at the teamwork, look at the trust that Order should have had from the start. Now being shown here is the first goal. Snapped down by Order.
They saw Delusion up, they knew where he's going to hit it, and Dumbo intercepts perfectly.
I got to say, for SYF Gaming, things are getting a little bit tricky. It's not the first 2 games. Delusion not trusting to reach up for that ball. Back onto the defense. SYF Gaming that room to breathe given to Order once again. On the defense they go. Dumbo steals it away. Requiem on the defense, but Zen's here as well. Angled towards net. Delusion has to run back. Jules keeps it down.
And you can just see SYF. That's a hit forward, but to who? Straight to Dumbo. There's no follow-up, and they just have to hope that they get a good dunk off.
Well, Delusion, the pass is good over to Decker, but it's intercepted once again. 1 over by Order. Zen misses the ball, and we were talking about those defensive mistakes. SYF Gaming, do they capitalize? It looks like yes with Delusion in the shot. There's the first one for SYF.
What a return to sender from Delusion. Straight across into the back of the net. Jules was not ready for it, and they have tied up the game.
So SYF with that goal, do you change? Do you move back to your confident, cocky even play style?
You have to do it. You have to go aggressive. You've got a game under your belt, and that is the play style that you like to play. We have seen most of their goals, though, just coming from just a straight shot in net so far.
Directly by Delusion. They'll get that first goal. See, pushes up once again. SYF Gaming come around that corner. Requiem at the rear. Out of boost is Zen. He gets it through 1. The second now. Ran out of boost a while ago. Still dribbling with the ball, but Delusion now has taken over. Jules is there. A good second touch. Requiem going up for the dunk, and he will find it, but Zen with the clear away.
And with Delusion low on boost, he had to go back, so there wasn't a follow-up. They will get the chance to pressure. If they can beat out Zen, Jules gets a good turnaround.
Jules meets the ball from Delusion. Turns back around and goes towards that offense. The touch again. Angled away, but Zen's not up for the ball. Actually misses out. Requiem now pushing up as well as Decker. The aggression continuing from that corner. The net open there. It is Delusion.
That was sloppy from Order, but great from SYF. Dumbo was not expecting that touch. Went boost over ball, had no defense, and finally Delusion gets that one spot that was open.
I don't know what it is, but SYF Gaming are back.
They are holding it. They are putting on the pressure. They are making Order nervous once again.
But Order still that one goal, and Dumbo's ready. The touch missed, and Delusion just runs away with the ball. Zen loses the ball as well, and they're stuck on the defense. They're back all the way through. Requiem waiting. Decker on the back foot, but still a good play by SYF.
Great defense from Decker as well. Requiem is getting in there on the backboard. There's a shot, but Delusion, another save. And this is where SYF's clutch saves come into play.
Order with the touch again towards net. Decker pops it up. Jules and Zen move forward, and it's Dumbo left on the defense, but he can't get the ball, and it goes all the way in.
Dumbo could not get up to that. Requiem carries it over the top. This is a disaster for Order. SYF Gaming 3-1 match point, and Order have to bring this back.
On the verge of 2 and 3 here in week 4, Order will be neck and neck with SYF Gaming. Game number 4 defines here. 2 minutes left remaining, and SYF have 2 goals up. The dribble, the denial, and SYF get the ball again. Jules will just meet with Decker. And Order falling apart.
There's a mix-up in the center for SYF. They bump each other. But on the same note, Order not playing confidently. They need to just be as aggressive as possible to try and tie up the game.
Jules trying to play that aggressive playstyle himself, but no one else. Decker there with the dribble through the air. Dumbo steals it away. Requiem punches it. Jules with the defense once again. Dumbo here. Jules. 1 minute 30 remaining. Order trying to get past this midfield, but SYF denying.
SYF are executing this perfectly. They're putting up the pressure. They're just putting on shots knowing that Order won't be able to...
Hang on. Let's take a step back there. Knowing that Order won't be able to take the shots, well, Zen begs to differ.
Well, look at this from Zen. That is a read and a half. The double touch. Just finds it perfectly. And that one big play from a solo player like Zen could just bring Order back.
1 goal difference, 1 minute 20. Zen on the attack is different from Zen on the defense. Dumbo angles it towards net. Decker, well-deserved savior medal in this game so far. The bump away, but SYF Gaming have not found the clear. It stays on the attack. Order setting up nicely here. Requiem really needed that touch. In fact, it sets up Decker towards net, but Jules, a great save.
Could not get the angle across. He just needed a little bit more spice.
At the moment, Delusion trying to add to the chili mix. Requiem comes forward as well. Delusion, Decker in the midfield.
So smart to go for that 50, to just take their time. They're putting so much pressure, not even trying to get a goal. They've got the lead, but they have to hold on for 40 more seconds.
Requiem trying to get these challenges underway. Delusion with the bump as well. Decker comes back in, but it's high. He's run out of boost. Actually, that works. Delusion drops it down. Requiem doesn't commit, and Order get a bit of time on their side. 20 seconds remaining.
They changed their game plan. They shouldn't have been the pass down. They've got to rush at 20 seconds now for Order.
They've got 1 play left in the system. 15. We're counting even further.
They're stuck
Order
in defense.
on the defense. Jules to Dumbo, punches it up. Decker saves it away. Zen's here,
a chance,
ready to get it in that goal square. The bump away, mid-air, it bounces down, and SYF Gaming create the upset.
They have taken it down. They have 2 more series to go. But what a resurgence now from SYF.
And we start questioning if SYF can do this to Order against Avant next. What is the result going to be? Order came so close, but this is the SYF that climbs up.
This is a big turnaround and a big showing from Delusion in that final game.
Look, the big showing is actually Requiem.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say Billy. Requiem, 4 goals and 4 assists across the whole series. We were really worried about him being the worst player statistically, and he really showed up this series.
Well, funnily enough, he was really important in those first 2 games. We really hyped him up, where he was just doing so much. He was so good in the midfield as well.
Yeah.
And then Delusion, I think, really, he was smart in that last game, the way he went for those 50s, the way he just waited for Order to come in, knowing that he didn't need to get a goal and just stop them from getting on attack.
I'm really liking Delusion's look a lot more. He's looking a lot more confident. Again, the last few weeks, he's just looked a bit shaky and a bit, scared
I
from
think he's had to change his play style.
He has had to change his play style, and that's an uncomfortable thing to do as a player. And I really think he's starting to grow into this new one he wants to do.
Yeah, he's not up for every single ball.
Oh, it's so important, especially when SYF, they're on the verge of getting eliminated. They still need this next series win, but this is the start you want. 3-1-ing Order. And Order right now, I've got to take a step back and go, right now, we're on the same edge.
Look, that was just sloppy from Order.
That's fair.
That defense was just, not good enough, and they will know that. That Game 3 was excellent. That's the Order we know they have in them. I don't think, SYF had it in Order's half at all, that whole game. Order were just relentless, but the rest of the series, just sloppy defense.
It was really odd to see as well, because they had good moments and bad moments, and those first 2 games, they couldn't string anything together, but I think as well, you have to give some of that credit to SYF. The amount of pressure, the fact that they're always in your face puts you in a situation where you're like, I have to touch this ball.
No, I also think SYF were defending really well. I think they looked really organized in defense. Game 3, they really... Let's ignore Game 3. They looked sloppy in Game 3, but the rest of the time, they weren't getting in each other's way. They weren't double commits. They were really getting it out of defense quite consistently, and that's what you want to see.
And Delusion, again, another note for him, but always being in that spot, ready to be forward and receiving that counterattack pass, which we didn't see from Order at all.
Look, Order really, I still worry about them with their goal scoring potential. You saw Zen with the awesome solo play. You saw Jules making some really creative opportunities, but they just don't seem fast enough for me. They just don't seem to create those opportunities as much as you need to.
Yeah, they really sped it up at the end, like in that game 3. That's what won them, their speed, and I don't know why they don't just use that. Up against next week, I'm calling it right now. I don't think Order are going to make it.
You said one of the teams that weren't going to make it was Legacy or Order, Jake.
Yeah.
And next week, it's Legacy, it's Tainted Minds. They're going to pull something out of the hat. Better be a big bloody rabbit.
You also got to remember, Legacy aren't looking too good either. So we could have the seed 3 and 4 just not make it.
But like a team like Justice would be looking at this going, hang on, this is not bad. This is absolutely fantastic. However, we're going to find out next because SYF will have to verse Avant Gaming to keep their dreams alive, essentially. We're going to take a 5-minute break when we return. That game coming up.
See you soon.